We're doing Cutlass stuff today. 76 Cutlass stuff today, to be really specific. Cutting floor out, all kinds of sparks, cool tools that you're gonna love. And yeah, stick around, watch it. You're gonna love it. Bye. Welcome once again to another very spine-tingling episode of Covert's Shop. And today, we're working on Chaz's 76 Cutlass again. In the last video, you watched a sandblast the tub that was already sandblasted like many years ago. And I'll put a link right up here so you could go watch that one if you wish. It's a fun video. And since then, we have done more stuff off camera. We can't film everything. We would love to, but so far, Sean got the firewall cleaned up because it had all the old seam sealer on it. Any other little bits he got cleaned up, and we unshaved it because I don't know if you're aware, this car had shaved door handles and locks that happened many years ago without the owner's consent at the last body shop. So not digging on that guy, but he didn't want shaved handles. So we fixed all that with parts and pieces he brought, and we're still kind of fine-tuning that stuff, but that's done. Today is the big job of cutting the floor out. So the trunk floor and the main floor in this car has been patched from just a lot. It's really ugly. And yeah, we could probably use it, but there is a ton of like pinholes in it. This was a Michigan car, so just I'll leave it at that. And we're gonna do the entire floor pan and the entire trunk floor, because from a business cost standpoint, it's actually way more affordable to do that than patch this thing up and spend hours cutting small patches or building small patches or buying small patches and welding them in and then making them look like cohesive, like they were never replaced. So they offer a full floor pan for this car for, I think, right around $1,000. And the trunk floor, I think, is around $600. And that's what we're going to put in today. So stick around. We got some cool tools we're going to show you. And once we get to that point, we'll show you how it works, and we'll do a review on it later. To aid in the removal of this floor, we're going to use our trusty Miller Spectrum 375 Extreme plasma cutter. Now, if you don't know what a plasma cutter is, they're probably the best tool ever invented for metal cutting. Uses some electric, some air, some magic to really cut metal quick. So come on in, camera guy, come on. Here is the plan. It's probably going to change because it's not going to work like most things. Sean is going to start maybe here or here. We're going to split this thing down the trans tunnel. We're going to cut across, and then from underneath, he's going to plasma up along the original big support beam that's there, so we don't cut that. We're going to get the brunt of the floor out to get it out of the way, and then we get to show you wonderful people a super cool tool that's going to make life for myself, Sean, and anybody else who decides to buy one much easier, rather than using drill bits and a drill and hatefulness to cut spot welds. So stick around for that. You're going to see lots of sparks, and hopefully Sean doesn't light himself on fire today. All right, we got the floor cut out of it. By we, I mean Sean. I just kind of stood there and watched to make sure nobody was on fire, including himself, because that's bad. And now comes the time where we have to refine that by cutting out 1,000,000 spot welds. If you don't know what spot welds are, well, they're like an electric thing. Ed, the editor, he'll find something to put in there to show you, because I can't find my words right now. Anyways, how do you cut these out? Well, traditionally, well, you have a couple methods. You got some of this, some of that, one of these, and yeah, it works, but if you do a lot of them like we do, there's a much better tool. I have it hiding behind me. We've been talking about it, alluding to it, and now I'm going to show you. You ready? Can you handle it? Let me set this stuff down. It's this thing right here. So, as I get my hands together, we don't need that anymore. Come on in. Ready? Instructions that we don't need it. Get out of here. This is the pneumatic spot weld cutter. This one's made by Dent Fix, and it is supposedly the elite of the elite, the best of the best. Seems to be. We've used it a real little bit just on a test sample. This guy, and we'll get it out. I'll kind of show you how it works. And just remember, we're going to do a review video on this after we get done doing Chaz's car. So, all right, let's see how this thing works. So, put some air to it first. Pneumatically operated, has a little regulator right here on it, and it is obviously air powered, and it is heavy, so take that into consideration. So what this does is, as I pull the trigger here, it actually pushes itself into that. So this will go on the other side of your panel. As you push, it'll clamp it. You don't have to push. It'll self-drill. It'll pull itself down into the panel. And all that is adjustable. So you won't go through both panels. So this comes off. This comes off. And you could use it without this C-clamp. So let's see how it works. So we have to come down here first. And because this has got a lip right here, you kind of got to take it off and up and around, slide it back on, and walk it over. Now, come up here, camera guy. You see that's our spot weld. Now, I haven't set this for depth or anything, so we're going to pull the trigger. Looks like we need to give it a little more depth. I don't know if I went the right way. Yeah, there you go. And ideally, you don't want it to go through both panels. Let's try again. Give me a little more. Yeah, let's do a little more. I think that's it. Let's come back to this one now we got it adjusted. And that's it. That's as quick as that is. So, only about 1,000,000 more to go. I also should note, before we go further, that this uses a little different bit. This doesn't use the other ones that you'd seen. It more of like a normal drill bit or a end mill cutter. I don't know what you guys call it, but they work really well. I had to set it down just a little bit more. All right, we got the gun set up. It seems to be working okay. We're gonna pass it off to Sean. He's gonna keep hammering and hating and getting angry at cutting this thing apart. While Ed and I head into the neighboring town to look at a couple potential projects. So you may or may not see them in the future. Time will tell. Okay, we just got back from freezing our tails off looking at some projects, and Sean has made good progress. You can see he's been using this fancy new dent fix gun to get all these spot welds and stuff. You can see the car's pretty solid underneath all that, and well, except for that, that's a patch from the last guy. And all this up in here, you can see, needs some attention that, well, our fancy little spot weld tool won't do. You actually have to get in there and cut and grind and be hateful and swear a lot. You've been swearing a lot?
Yes.
He says yes if you can't hear. So he's gonna, I think, keep going, keep ripping and tearing. Leave it to him. We'll show you, I guess, when he gets everything cleaned up here. Other than that, it's just a bunch of boring rinse and repeat. So. So here we are. It is the end of day 2. It is 4:45. So 5 o'clock, I'm done. Sean will be here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What has happened? Well, Sean spent most of the day getting all the little bits and bobs and grinding and getting all the ugliness out of here, cutting the old patches out, getting it ready for the new floor. Now, it's in here. We may, or you may think we have jumped a gun because we didn't clean it. Well, we wanted to test fit it before we did all that other stuff to make sure it's gonna fit. And guess what? It's gonna fit. So that's a really good thing. So it is in. It seems like it's gonna fit. We will pull it back out and clean up all the rusty stuff along the original rails and the seams and make sure there's no metal sticking up or whatever. And we'll throw a good coat of epoxy primer on it to kind of lock down the rust, to make sure it doesn't rust between the panels like it did in the past. And spend a lot of time drilling holes along the edge here to spot weld it back in like factory had it. And you know what, so far, I think we've only got maybe about 12 hours in doing this. So from a business perspective, I guess, you're getting a lot more bang for your buck than what you would if we just patched small stuff or did halves or whatever. So this is a little more money up front to buy the panel, but in the long run, you get a hell of a nice job versus all the little patches in there. So Sean's gonna keep going on this the rest of the day with nobody around to bother him. And next time you see this, it'll probably be welded in, and we will rinse and repeat on the trunk because we're putting a whole trunk floor in it. And then at that point, it's going to be ready to go back on the rotisserie, get painted underneath, and then we will marry the body and the frame together. So hopefully we'll show you all that so you'll get to see it. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, all that little stuff. There's a bell somewhere, I guess you could ring. And let us know what you think. Tell us how bad we did. So we'll see you in the next one.